Good afternoon, everyone. Here is Sir Jude, and here is our video lecture for yesterday, today, and supposedly tomorrow's session. No, so our lesson kasi today was super short, and we actually finished discussing, but at the same time, we weren't able to cover all slides in the PowerPoint presentation because we devoted 85 to 90% of our session earlier and yesterday on your very first group performance task. So for the familiarization drill, which was actually the review of our very first lesson about changes in matter, I ask you to match the definitions in column A to their corresponding terminologies in column B. So without further ado, let's start. Okay. Number one, change in state of matter only. This is one of the three types of changes in matter. And if only the state of matter change, that refers to letter I, phase change. For number two, when new substances are finally formed, that is where chemical composition of the original substance is altered or modified or transformed to another chemical composition, not retaining the original identity. Therefore, this refers to chemical change. Letter A. Number three, if there are no changes in state of matter and chemical composition, just on the appearance, no, then therefore it's letter J, physical change. For number four, the transformation from gas to liquid refers to letter B, condensation. For number five, the transformation from gas to solid, skipping the liquid phase, is letter C, deposition. For number six, liquid turning to gas, the transformation from liquid to gas is letter F, evaporation. For number seven, the transformation from liquid to solid is letter G, freezing. And the last item for this slide is number eight. The transformation from solid to gas is called sublimation, letter K. Now, there are still three more items. Okay, so number nine, let me just annotate first. The transformation from solid to liquid is none other than letter H, melting. For number 10, the trifecta of heat-absorbing reactions such as melting, evaporation, and sublimation are called endothermic reactions. And finally, the trifecta of heat-releasing reactions such as condensation, freezing, and deposition are called letter E, exothermic reactions. Now, another part of our review is I ask you to determine whether each scenario demonstrates physical, phase, or chemical change and justify why. So for our first scenario, we have smoking of dry ice, no, or dry carbon dioxide. And that is an example of phase change because solid carbon dioxide turns to gaseous carbon dioxide. It underwent sublimation. Carbon dioxide is still carbon dioxide, but its phase transformed originally from solid to gas. Now, for souring of milk, this is a manifestation of chemical change because the chemical constituents of milk are now turned into something that is expired or dangerous to consume. And finally, for shredding of paper, this is an example of physical change because originally paper, once it's shredded, it's still paper, but cut or grinded into several pieces. Paper is still paper, its state solid is still solid. That's why it's physical change. Okay. Now, for yesterday and this morning, now we had our very first performance task wherein I asked groups 1 to and 4 to dissolve one Berocca tablet in 150 ml of tap water in a beaker, not 100 ml because I I did not expect that 100 ml is too low. Then for groups 2 and 5, I ask you to mix 1 tablespoon of baking soda to 75 milliliters of vinegar in a beaker. And for groups 3 and 6, I ask you to mix 1 tablespoon of yeast and 1 tablespoon of sugar and also 150 ml of warm water in a beaker. Okay? So the reason why I asked you to perform the experiment and we had our presentation is because our our lesson second lesson is actually too short, no? All the questions that I asked you in the presentation and in your experimentation are already our exact lesson, which is about the evidence of chemical change. Okay? So I asked, we listed 5 evidence of chemical change, no? Any visual or sensory manifestation that a chemical change has occurred without depending on the chemical formula or chemical identity of the substances or mixtures. So let's go into them one by one. No? So for the first picture here, which is on top left, you have a clear solution and then eventually turning something into yellow or amber. That is a manifestation of color change. Okay. So even if a solution is originally clear and then it became cloudy or blurry or hazy or powdery, there's still a manifestation of color change. If the original color is not the same as the resulting color of the mixture, then therefore color change has occurred. Okay, so for the second picture, which is on top right, you see that there are bubbles forming, and the presence of bubbles means that there is a release of gas. For our third picture, at the bottom left, we have several undissolved particles settling at the bottom or sometimes floating at the top of the solution inside the test tube. Those undissolved matter or particles are called precipitates, no? So one evidence is also the precipitate formation. Okay. So for our fourth evidence, no? So there are changes in aroma or scent. Kaya we have odor change. And finally, is temperature change, wherein the temperature of a solution or a substance or a mixture can be colder. So when it's colder, the temperature decrease, or hotter, meaning the temperature increase. No? And as I said a while ago, this is basically the entirety of our lesson, and I hope that the performance tasks were already enough for you to remember or familiarize yourselves on the 5 evidence of chemical change. No, but let's for those who weren't able to perform the experiments uh because I designated several experiments for each group. No, so check what evidences of chemical change were manifested in each setup and explain how each evidence manifested. So when I asked groups 1 and 4 to dissolve their 1 Berocca tablet in water. Of course, there's color change from colorless to orange. There's also gas release due to the emergence of bubbles. There's also precipitate formation wherein undissolved matter settled. But for other groups, no, they were able to completely dissolve the tablet in water. Odor change, yes, there was an odor change from odorless to orangey. And for temperature change, it depends. Some groups, regional and final temperatures are the same. For some groups, there's slight increase, no? And for other groups, there are also slight decrease in temperature. Okay? For the mixture of vinegar and baking soda, which resembles uh, the lava exploding erupting from volcanoes, no? That's used in science exhibitions of volcanoes, no? Of course, there's color change from colorless to cloudy white. Then obviously there's gas release was manifested through gas bubbles, and some of you, no, may precipitate formation, some of you don't as well. Majority kasi wala talagang undissolved matter and kailangan ko mag-depend doon sa majority na nasabi. But for of course, no, for those who are deviated to what was represented here, that's also fine because sometimes it materializes, sometimes it doesn't. Okay. For odor change, yes, sometimes sour to faint sour or sour to sourer or more sour. Yan. For temperature change, also depends. Sometimes wala nagbago sa temperature, sometimes uminit lang ng konti, then sometimes lumamig lang din ng konti. Okay, lastly, for the warm water with yeast and sugar, which is performed by groups 3 and 6, there's color change from colorless to beige or tan. Gas release, obviously, may bubbles po tayo. Precipitate formation, yes, because undissolved matter settled, probably due to the yeast. Odor change, also yes, because from odorless, it smelled like bread-like or cereal-like, and for there was one group that described it as like a rotten egg. Then temperature change, this one is fixed because you started with warm water and eventually, no, after 5 minutes, it began to cool down. So obviously, it turned colder. Okay? So do all evidences of chemical change manifested in each setup? No. Sometimes 3 out of 5 of the evidence manifested, sometimes 4 out of 5 manifested, no? And if they indeed manifested, uh, they materialize in different ways. No? Because different reactions require different substances and each substance has their own identity. No? Ayan po. So, for review part, check what evidences of chemical change were manifested in each setup and explain how each evidence manifested. So we have fireworks starting from like firework powder, no? So of course, by the way, no, the 5 evidence of chemical change are again color change, gas release, precipitate formation, odor change, and temperature change. Of course, there's color change because sometimes you start with gray or white powder before you ignite it, and then it transforms to different colors. For gas release, I don't think there's gas release because for gas release to occur in a chemical change, dapat may gas bubbles na lumalabas. For precipitate formation, also no because no undissolved matter settle. Once it starts to ignite or spark, then it goes upwards and starts popping or cracking. Right? For odor change, yes, because it starts from gunpowder like to burnt, parang sunog. Okay. Then for temperature change, yes, hotter. Because sinindihan. Okay? So what evidences naman of chemical change were manifested when a canned good expires at room temperature? So you just leave it at room temperature, no? So therefore, there's color change, no? Once it expires, it turns to a different its appearance changes. Some or microorganisms of different colors appear, changing the appearance of the canned good. There's also gas release, no, which may not be evident kung wala kayo nakikitang like steam or smoke, but bumubula po yan. Then there's also precipitate formation because may mga lumalabas-labas na pong substances partly due to the microorganisms that seep through, no? And finally, odor change, no? Because syempre, iba yung amoy ng raw canned good or newly like iba yung amoy ng raw canned goods, sa preserved canned goods, sa expired canned goods. And the only evidence that wasn't manifested here was temperature change because it's explicitly stated na sa room temperature nilagay ang lata. Now, okay, so for our PISA questions, number 3, when cutting onions, the sulfurate it mixes with the enzymes in our eyes. So yes, pag naghihiwa po ng onions, no? Sakit sa mata to the point na naiiyak tayo or we become irritated. As a result, we try to flush out the painful acidic site. What evidence of chemical change was observed? So I don't think there's gas release kasi wala namang bubbles. Bubbles ang indicator na may gas release. I think there's also odor change because you start with odorless and iba yung amoy kapag, well, iba yung amoy ng onion kapag hindi pa nakakakat versus yung amoy ng onion kapag nakakat because mas dun lumalabas ang sulfur, no? I don't think there's color change because like uh what do you call this? Like unsliced onions still have the same color as sliced onions. Temperature change, no. Di naman pinainit or pinalamig ang onions. And there's also no precipitate because you didn't actually, I mean, yung sulfur nag-react sa ating luha and luha doesn't count or the tears that don't count as precipitate because precipitates are solid. Kaya the answer here is none other than, sorry, the answer in this question is none other than letter B, odor change. Okay, number 4, a student boils water so he can use it while taking a bath every morning before going to school. Does the presence of bubbles in the kettle underscore that boiling water is a chemical change? If yes, why? If not, why not? So I'm sure lahat tayo ginagawa ito, especially kapag sobrang lamig ng panahon, nagpapakulo ng tubig sa umaga kasi sobrang lamig. However, just because ba may lumabas na bubbles or bula, does that mean that boiling water is chemical change? And while yeah, may lumalabas na bula, it doesn't mean na chemical change ang boiling water. Because, oh, no, because only the state of water change. Walang chemical change na nangyari, phase change po ang nangyari. Yes, may presence ng bubbles, but water na liquid form has the same chemical composition as water na gaseous form. Okay? Some of you might tempt to answer C or D, but if you look at the question carefully, the best answer is letter A. And number 5, a student mixed two colorless solutions in a beaker. Immediately, a white solid appeared and settled at the bottom. Which substance is the precipitate? So the answer here is letter D, which is the white solid settling at the bottom, no? So precipitates are undissolved particles, no? Of course, we don't count the beaker as a substance because that is a laboratory equipment or tool. For two colorless solutions, they are the solute and the solvent, no, not the precipitate. And of course, the solution or the solution mentioned in the question has a precipitate negating letter C. Kaya the correct answer is letter D. Okay? So, yeah, maikli lang po talaga yung second lesson natin and I hope na even though natapos ko lang yung main meat ng lesson and we didn't even have a lot of recitation points because of time constraint, no? Uh, Sana mairaos natin yung final slides. And we will proceed to a brand new lesson tomorrow. And don't worry, we will be having a lot of demonstrations. And this time, ako namang teacher ang magde-demonstrate and you have to be the observer or watcher this time around. But till then, this is Sir Jude. Good afternoon and goodbye.